Hello and welcome to the King's Gun Center morning coffee sessions. And we're trying to bring in some people. We're trying to make the conversation pertinent to you and to the things that you need to know about. And it's a very special day for us because we have the California Rifle and Pistol Association's Executive Director, Rick Travis, with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming down.
I'm glad to be here, Todd. Glad to be with the people here in Kings County.
You're driving through the state right now.
Yes, we are.
And this is your first time in our store. I hope you like it.
I love your store. This is just an awesome store, an awesome place to come. I see different types of ranges up and down the state, and this is definitely in the top 1%.
I do appreciate that. We really tried hard to make an environment for people to come in and feel comfortable, whether you're young or old, or whether you're male or female, to just feel comfortable when you come in here and know that we're here for you and that we want to be the best gun store and range possible.
Well, it's very family oriented. It's clean, it's professional, and it's the things that the CRPA wants to see in gun stores throughout the state.
About 3-4 months ago, I was thinking of what can we do to help fund the fight in California. And when I say this, I mean when you look at progressive organizations, whether it's for the Earth or whether it's for the Sierras or whether it's for whatever, they always have these little ground roots things and all these little funding sources from everywhere.
Yes, they do.
And I thought, why don't we round up? Because every time I went to Panda Express, they said, you want to round up for Children's Hospital. Now, my daughter, she broke her back when she was 12 years old, and she actually works here now. But they took care of her. She's good as new today.
Right.
And so I love the Children's Hospital program because they specialize on, and we are a beneficiary of what they've done.
Right.
So I'm happy to do that every time I go in. Why can't we do that here, I said. So I tried some other organizations around California. I called some of the other political organizations, and when I do this, I mean this is ILA money, or this is money for the fight. But nobody had ever called me back. And then Jason comes in one day. Jason's one of your field reps.
Right.
I wasn't here. I was gone at the time, and Doug, my general manager, sat and talked to him and mentioned this to him. And he said, hey, let's do this.
Right.
And he actually made the decision right there. He says, I know this is going to work. I'll take care of it for you. And boom, here we are. So what we have is the CRPA Roundup for Gun Rights.
Yes.
There's 3 stores that are coming on board with you. Mil-Spec Armory in San Jose, Stage Stop Gun Shop, there we go, in Atwater and in Mariposa.
Right.
We're building a range right now with him over there. We're helping him build a range in Atwater right now. And then we are going to be helping you out. And our very first month was March, and we had 112 donations from our customers, totaling $70.87.
Thank you very much.
And we would love for you to have that check from our customers to you, because they believe in
Thank you very much.
They believe in that. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if we can get more stores, and this is a direct request to every store out there. Our customers love it. They are very happy to donate. And it's just as simple as making an extra button on our cash register that allows them to put the amount in to make it a 0 transaction. We've had several people give more than $1 or more than that transaction. One of the very first that Ari told me about, he was so excited, he called me up, and the guy had a 5-cent difference on his bill to make it rounded up. He goes, I'll make it 505. They're very happy to help this organization out.
Yeah, and a point that you bring up, I mean, $70.87 in this huge fight doesn't seem like a lot, but one of the things I go around the state and tell people is, obviously when an executive director of any organization comes in, they're like, he's there for money, which really isn't my gig. But when I look at how much money that was put in the fight last year against us on Prop 63, Gavin Newsom raised about $5 million. And people are like, well, why couldn't the NRA, the California Rifle Pistol Association, and ours fight that? Well, because we don't have $5 million. But what's sad is we have between 8 and 12 million gun owners. If each of them gave $1, we could have defeated it. And this is why I often tell people, whether it's going out and being politically active or donating money, it doesn't take that much to win this fight in California. It just takes all of us coming together. And you doing this is a part of that process.
Yes. We do want to encourage anybody to call up Rick or the field rep David Miller here. At the end, we'll put their phone numbers in there so they can give them a call to find out how you can become involved in this. It's a very simple process. We'll give you the graphics to put in your store. all that stuff we have ready to go for you. We just want to make sure that we all jump in the fight. And it's really painless when it's 25 cents
Yeah.
or 38
Right.
cents. But they add up over time. And if we have 500 stores doing this,
It adds up very quickly.
it does. It really does. And we would love for some even the bigger chains, the challenges for the big stores,
The big
to
box stores,
come in
yeah.
and do this for us too. Those kinds of things will make a massive difference in the fight for our rights.
Yes, it will.
We just did the show yesterday on that new teddy gun thing in Illinois. More regulation to make a teddy bear, which is a lie,
Right.
a big lie.
Well, and that's the fight that we have going on right now, is they're just trying to take us piece by piece, and later on in the segment when we talk about the legislation, I'll show you how they're doing it. And
Okay.
it's-
Another thing you guys are very active in is competition and shooting sports.
Yes.
You're going over to Rankin Field a little bit later to work on
Correct.
some stuff for that, aren't you?
Yes, I
Tell
am.
us about what the shooting program is for CRPA.
Well, what's interesting, a lot of people don't realize, California Rifle Pistol Association is going into its 142nd year. And the initial reason we were founded was twofold. One was for competitive shooting sports, because Californians, when they went to fight in the Civil War, were not that good at shooting.
Well, there's two reasons for that. One is they didn't want to shoot their brother,
Right.
so they were missing on purpose.
That's
So
right.
how much ammo was wasted? But yes, I get it.
Yeah,
and plus,
so we lost a lot of people. So when they came back, some of the irony of the day is our first president of the association was the mayor of Oakland.
okay.
And our first range was in San Francisco.
Oh, have things changed?
Yes, things have changed quite a bit. And the reasons for it was both in 1875 when we became an association was marksmanship skills, and so we've dedicated ourselves that entire time to that. But the other part of it was this was 1875 when Fish and Game Code came in, and we became the first state with one of those.
Yeah, well, of course, California likes to
Right.
lead the rest.
Yes. So as a result, that was the two sides. And of course, by the 1960s, when the National Gun Control Act and stuff like that started to come in, we, like every other 2A organization, took over that mantle as well. So on the shooting sports, we have been active with Boy Scouts of America when they first started off with their merit badges, way back at the beginning of the last century. We've been involved with FFA, 4-H, Boys and Girls Clubs, Girl Scouts, but also we're involved with like Glock and putting on some state championships with them. All of what we would call the traditional shooting sports have come up through the National Rifle Association as their first state association. We've always been the ones that do those state championships, but we're constantly looking at ways to evolve different types of shooting sports because we have a very diverse population of people. In shooting sports, one of the things that we did about 3 years ago is we invested in a target system that we put down at Los Angeles Rifle and Revolver Club. And what they have down there at LANRR is the Olympic South Training Center. Their range is very unique. Outdoor range has about 20 different ways they can make the wind blow. So it's really cool. So for them to be able to have the Olympic trainers out there, but we realized that a lot of times we brought wounded warriors, different veterans that had different issues out, and so we came out with a targeting system that both helped challenge the Olympians, but also one of the things that we're coming out with a video to show some of our members and the public with was we were able to set up a system where people who were blind
Oh, really?
could shoot, and by the sound of the tone, dial it in and become marksmen.
Oh, fantastic.
So not only on the shooting sports are we looking at ways for next generation, bringing kids together, families together, and have competitive shoots up and down the state, but we're also looking for ways to reach out to parts of the population that, like a blind person, you would never think as being a marksman or a shooter. And while they may not go out and buy a gun, probably aren't going to get a CCW for obvious reasons, but what they are going to have is an appreciation, and they're going to become a solid voice for us when it comes to the vote.
And do something that they never thought they could do before.
Right.
And it's always nice to go beyond what you feel your boundaries are.
Yes. And that's one of the things that we're trying to do is push out those boundaries consistently. So part of the reason I travel up and down the state is to try to find out in each county what that county's needs are and how we as the CRPA can come in and assist in helping to make those things a reality.
Good. And you guys have sponsored events here at the Lemoore Sportsman's Club and at the Rankin Field in
Right.
Tulare County. And do you do any work over in San Luis Obispo at the...
We've done some at Slosa
Yeah.
at the range out there. We've done stuff all the way up in Sac Valley, all the way up to Record Range in Redding. Out in Eureka, we've done some things. And one of the things I'll talk about later on too is we're active, as I said before, at all the different youth programs trying to bring some stuff back, which is one of the things I want to kind of talk to you about doing here.
Well, we have our Young Guns program, which is
Right.
which is a class for parent and child up to 17 years old, and it's a pistol class. We supply a 22 Walther pistols.
Very cool.
And all the safety gear and stuff, and the parents are right along so that they see our training techniques, and they can mimic that when they're with their own kids, so that they fully understand how we're training, and then they really like that class.
I think that's great. Because one of the things we've got to be focused on, in fact, yesterday, that's why I was up in Sacramento spending time working within the hunting community, is we're working with a program here in California that's titled R3, which stands for Recruiting, Retention, Reactivation. And one of the things, Todd, that we're also concerned about is we're at a stage right now in shooting sports in California where we have a population that, let's say, is about 65 and over that has a treasure trove of information, but that never got passed down to their kids.
No.
And so now a lot of us are working with their grandkids, great-grandkids, and we're trying to come up with creative ways to either capture that information on film, bring them out, and get them back reactivated so we can put on events where they pass that information along, because once we lose it,
It'll be out
you
of
and I
our,
are going to be
our
seeing them back
conversation.
in a garage trying to figure out, well, how did they do that?
Yeah.
When now's the time to capture that.
You know, the youth turkey shoots and all those kinds of things are really good at getting the excitement and getting the interest going in those kinds of things. We have lots of ladies and lots of kids that come in here, lots of whole families come in here, and we really love to see that.
Yeah, and one of the things that we talked about too is we just got done doing a hunting camp where we take kids on a Friday. They'll come into one of our camps. They don't know anything about shooting. We'll take them through hunter's ed, and then on Saturday, what they're doing is they're going out to the range. Half the kids are out the range learning how to shoot shotguns. The other half are going through hunting ethics. Then we bring them together, and while they're having dinner that night, we actually have gotten the Department of Fish and Wildlife, which was incredible, shows up on site, issues all their licenses.
Good.
Sunday morning they get up, we introduce them to dogs, which always gets the excitement of the hunting dogs get in there, take them out, knock down some pheasants or chukar or quail, sometimes a combination of both, but then they bring it back, clean it, prep it, cook it, and consume it.
Oh,
so when
fantastic.
they leave, they're really in. And so when we did this, we're like, hey, this is all about next generation. And one of the things we learned was as the kids were getting in the car, they're tired, exhausted, and happy, the parents came up to us and said, when are you doing this for us? Because we don't know how to do this.
Yes.
And so now we're looking at ways to expand that kind of train out and do couples camps, family camps, and things like that. But also ways to creatively use, facilities like this one of, well, maybe we do all the train here, and then we find a farmer that has a field out there.
Exactly.
And seed it, and just to really expand that, because that's what we need to do is engage people and give them that traditional sense of where they're at. Because
Sure.
my fun-filled fact that I love to give everybody is whenever I'm saying around, there's two of them. Number one is if you became a vegan, which I'm fine because there's health reasons for it, but if you did because you think you're saving animals, more animals are killed by protecting vegan farms than all the hunting combined in California, which is kind of funny. And then the second point I like to bring up is there's nobody walking the planet that's not the descendant of a hunter.
Wow. Wow. Well, before we get too long on this thing, let's get to our last topic, and that is our legislative update.
Yay.
People have lots and lots of questions. We're going to be doing this on Saturday night. Saturday night here, we're going to have Rick and a few others maybe that will be able to answer any questions you have about the AR-15 laws, about the ammo rules coming, about what's pending in legislation right now. He's going to talk a little bit about what's pending in legislation right now and some of the other topics that he hears the most of.
Right. Well, on the AR issue, I want to get out there. CRPA spends an incredible amount of money along with the National Rifle Association. We use the same law firm, Michelle & Associates. Chuck Michelle is the president of the California Rifle Pistol Association. We have several lawsuits up right now. In fact, we're looking for people in different counties, local area, that either do not have an AR-15 and would have loved to have bought one, but because of these new laws, they're like, don't want to do that, because that becomes a good person to have as a plaintiff. It doesn't cost anything to be a plaintiff, but that allows us to make one set of arguments. And then we're looking, of course, for people that have AR-15s are now upset because they're going to lose them or have to classify them as assault weapons. But on that, part of our hassle is right now we're going after the California DOJ, who ironically told the governor they didn't want any of these laws because it was going to be too draconian for them. But now, yeah,
Well, because
don't listen to the people that have to enforce it.
because of the Senate race, the new director of the DOJ is like very, I don't know, shell shocked. Is that a good way of saying it? Walking into this mess
Yes.
that he's been inherited.
Very much so. And so they still haven't published what they're doing with anything. So everybody right now is trying to figure that out. So that's one of the reasons that on Saturday night I'll talk about, but I'll say it here. Always feel free to go to our legislative, in fact, I encourage you to it, area on our website. We update that basically hourly every day to try to keep it up. Because one of the things we have to quit having is all the people coming up going and doing the telephone game of, hey Todd, did you hear such and such rumor? Then you tell it to Justin, he tells it to David, it goes on, and next thing we have purple dinosaurs and pink unicorns.
Yeah, CRPA.org.
Correct.
Okay.
So there's a few things that I was going to bring up on some bills that we're supporting. We are supporting some bills that have a major impact here in the Central Valley. One of them we're doing with California waterfowl. It's AB 472. It will be designed to provide farmers with an incentive to turn over more land instead of just land that lay there for a while fallow, that they can turn that land over, put some nutrient crops in, so we have a better duck population. And so that's important because that will give more opportunities for hunting. Also, one of the things that we're opposing, among several, is, and I'm going to talk about, is AB 424. And this is put out by McCarthy. It's about the possession of a firearm in a school zone, which sounds really innocuous. But if you look at it, it's doing two things. One, it's allowing the local county, so you can think Marin, it's my favorite county to pick on. But then instead of having the school superintendent saying, oh, well, this person lives across the street from the school, they're entitled to have what they want in their house, it would allow the Board of Supervisors in Marin to go, no, the 1,000 yards starts at the curb. Oh, your house happens to be in it. Your house, the guns in your house are in the school zone.
Oh, no.
So that's one
Oh,
problem.
no.
But the or more devious thing that we have caught is looking at what came out Prop 63 and the Gunmageddon last year. We almost lost Boy Scout shooting in the state. In fact, the CRPA and NRA ILA put a considerable amount of resources over the last 30 days in saving the scouting and shooting sports, which, so people realize, meets the needs of about 200,000 youth in this state alone annually, getting them involved. But National was ready to shut it down because of our laws. We went in there. Well, now here comes the second phase, because what the Dems are trying to do in Sacramento is eliminate the shooting sports from the next generation. And right now with this particular bill on 424, it will eliminate hunter's ed classes that are being done after school, but more importantly, it goes after the junior ROTC units, of which we have been a sponsor of their state championships for the past 70 years. If this gets through, the vast majority of those programs will be shut down because there will be no place for them to shoot.
Wow.
And that is a direct hit against our national defense because, let's be honest, junior ROTC programs are the farm team for the reserve officer trained programs at universities and colleges, which becomes our officer corps for our 5 branches of the military. And if we lose that, we're not going to be in a good shape.
Well, think about that one also. 1,000 feet. In a normal city, individual schools are about 2,000 feet apart.
Right.
In a grid,
Right.
you wouldn't have any place that anybody could own a gun.
Right.
Even own a gun, much less a shot.
Right.
Just like what happened down in the what is it? The one that happened up in Oakland about they wouldn't grandfather in the gun stores, and they all lost because they put a little daycare next to the gun store. Somebody opened a little home daycare, and it shut down the store.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly. The other one that we're trying to get people to look at is Senate Bill 497. It's put out by Portantino. It's the firearms transfer bill, and it's about the fact that just like in a pistol, I could only come here and buy one pistol every 30 days.
Yes.
Well, this will do the same thing for long rifles. So rifles, shotguns, it's one every 30 days.
And that accomplishes what? I mean, what are they trying to accomplish by doing that, other than getting rid of our guns?
That's the main part. Portofino says nobody needs to buy more than one rifle in a 30-day period. Which is interesting because, I don't know if you've noticed, but Toyota runs commercials all the time during Valentine's weekend. come buy the couple's matching set of Corollas.
Exactly.
And nobody says, oh, well, one of those could be used in a drunk driving incident or something. You can,
Well, think about this time of year. People
Yeah.
getting their tax returns
Right.
back. They wait all year to buy a couple guns in March because
Right.
their tax returns comes back.
and you can dress them on the same form. And
Yes.
right, yeah.
Yeah. So yes, there is a reason why you should do that. Matter of fact, there is no reason for the 30-day, and with modern technology, there's no reason for the 10-day hold.
Right, which is why we have 2 lawsuits that are getting ready to go to the Supreme Court once we get our favorite new Justice Gorsuch on there.
Couple more days.
Yeah.
Couple more
That's
days.
it. But the other part of this, and this is what I really want to help educate people up and down the state, is people see the 30-day wait and they think of them. And, so for me, yes, I'd like to buy maybe a shotgun and a hunting rifle or something at the same time. What I don't think about is how this impacts the youth shooting sports.
Sure.
And how it does is if you think about whatever type of group that you're working with, as those kids come through, Todd, their parents are the ones that the firearms have to be drossed to because those different units and clubs can't own them.
And if they got 3 kids, you got to think 90 days out.
Right.
Or 6 months out.
And what happens is then those people get so upset that when their kids age out and they leave, the firearms collection for that particular program leaves with those parents.
Yes.
And then the program dies. And this is why we're seeing what we're now calling the porpoising of youth shooting sports is it explodes, and then because of legislature, it just moves on.
Sure.
And so that's the other reason we're trying to look at people saying this bill has to be resisted, not just for personal reasons, but it is also a good example of what we try to tell people. You can't look at, hey, I'm a 3-gunner, or hey, I'm a hunter, or hey, I'm a shotgun person, or hey, I'm just, I have my pistol in the nightstand. You have to look at any attack on any part of the shooting sports as an attack on everybody.
Sure.
Because that's how they've been able to pick us off in California for a long time, is if you think about all the anti-groups come together.
Yes.
But we don't always all come together because we're like, hey, that doesn't affect me. I don't own a range. No, that does affect me. It affects me in a big way. And so that's one of the things that we're really trying to get through to the people is enough is enough, and we have to come together because we have the votes to change any election in California if we just all vote together as a block. But as a block, we'd be at 8 million voting member block. That's 3 times what got the last Governor Brown elected.
I know. We can't look at it from our perspective.
Right.
We have to look at it from the progressive or the left's perspective, and they don't have any. Well, they have true resolve, and they don't have any inhibitions to take their message out.
Right.
They are convinced, and they fight for it. And we have our jobs, we got our families, we have our little soccer games, we have all the
Right.
things that we're doing. We don't have time to think of this, but they are constantly hammering at it. So we're not going to go too more deep
Right.
into this because Saturday night
Right?
is the night
Sorry,
we're going to go
let's
deep
yeah,
into
we are
this.
going to go deep into it.
And we hope that you guys can make it out Saturday night
Yes.
at 6 o'clock right here at the King's Gun Center. We're closing the store at that time, so the whole building is dedicated just to
We thank you for that.
this. And we are going to try and get it recorded too, so we can get it
Yes,
get it
that'd be
memorialized.
wonderful.
We have to take care of all that for you. But finally, it's simply this. We have to get organized. We have to get our message unified.
Yeah.
All these little organizations around the state that think they're trying to defend gun rights aren't necessarily doing that. They may
Right.
be using the gun fear to pad their own pockets or do other things. We have to come together and go to an organization, and I'm glad that NRA has chosen you guys and that you guys are working together now
Right.
to make this fight unified across the board so that we can start getting our rights back in California.
If I could, one last thing I would
Yes.
like to dispel. We work with Chris Cox at NRA ILA all the time. Chris has made a promise a couple of years ago. He's owned up to that promise. So I want to dispel the myth. The NRA has not left California. Every dollar given to NRA ILA stays in California to fight for California. We work really close. I'm going to be out there in 2 weeks back at NRA headquarters working with them to bring some more grassroots to get this thing going in this state and turn things around. But they are definitely dedicated. So I just wanted to dispel the myth that they've left California and abandoned it, because that's not the truth.
When it comes to the Roundup program and getting some more funds for you guys,
Right.
if you have any stores have any questions about it, they're free to call me or Ari.
We'd love to
and,
do that.
and let them know what our customers feel and how they
Okay.
feel about it. And they're very, very good about wanting to help. As long as we're clear This is the California Rifle and Pistol Association's
Right.
money for legislative purposes.
all it goes to.
People are absolutely excited about it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming down. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you. Hope to be here more.
Thank you for watching King's Gun Center TV. Don't forget, this Saturday night is our community forum night with the California Rifle and Pistol Association and with Rick Travis here. Come on down here, enjoy yourself. Don't forget, if you want to subscribe, you can click right here, or if you want to watch any of our other videos, it'll be right over here. Thank you for watching King's Gun Center TV.